Hello class, this is Dr. Fenton. In this video, I'd like to show you how to get started with assignment number 2 for Accounting 200L. Make sure you download and read the instructions, and they'll first tell you to download and open the Excel file for this assignment. When you do that, this is what you'll see on the screen. We have two tabs at the bottom. This first one is the General Ledger tab, which is what you see here. The second one is a General Journal tab, so we'll come back to this in just a minute. The assignment first tells you to populate the T accounts with their beginning balances from this trial balance as of January 1st, 2018. Make sure you use cell references. So what we're going to do is not type the 4,500 into here, but click in this cell, hit the equal sign, and then click on the cell for cash, the dollar amount, and then hit enter. And there you go. The number goes in there automatically. Sometimes when people start these projects, they try to type all the numbers in here, which there's no need for. So what we'll do, again, like for accounts receivable, we know that it has a debit balance. So we're going to say equal, click here, and enter. And that's all there is to it. Just keep going. Here's debit side, click equal, and then for supplies, enter. And I'll just show you like a credit accumulated depreciation. Make sure if it has a credit balance here that you come to this side, the credit side, and hit equal, click on the dollar amount, and then hit enter. So do that for all the accounts. I'll let you do the rest of it. I'm not going to show you how to work the entire thing here. The next thing you do is go to the General Journal, and in the instructions it'll give you various transactions that have occurred. You need to make the entries for all the transactions. Here we have on the first 4 transactions the account names already typed for us. So for the others, like through E through the rest of them, you'll need to type the account titles yourself in the debit or the credit side. So on the first one, it says we provide health services for cash, $18,000, and on account, $62,000. So cash received is $18,000. And accounts receivable is $62,000. And then we see that we need to credit service revenue for the total. And the total is $80,000. What you have learned in your financial accounting course is that for each transaction, the debits and credits must balance. So the total debits must equal the total credits. So here we have $18,000 debit to cash, $62,000 debit to account receivable, and the total services we provided, $80,000. So these two total $80,000, and the credit is $80,000. Let's go ahead and do the next entry. It says that we collected on account receivable $45,000 cash. So our customers paid us $45,000 cash, so we debit cash $45,000, which is an increase in cash. And the cash came from the fact that customers owed us the money. So we're not making more sales, we're not earning more revenue, we're collecting on past revenue we've earned where the customers still owe us money. So we take that out of accounts receivable. So this credit will have the effect of reducing accounts receivable. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Issued shares of common stock in exchange for cash. So let's debit cash, $12,000, cash coming in the door. And the reason that came in the door because the corporation sold common stock, so $12,000 here. The rest of these transactions I'll let you do yourself. You also have adjusting entries. So after you finish all the regular transactions, what these are the external transactions. It'll be A through K. Then you have to go through adjusting entries. So adjusting entries are covered in Chapter 3 in your textbook. So as you read that, you make sure you know that you have this assignment coming up. So go through all the adjustments. These will be more detailed and more computations for you to do. For each adjusting entry, you'll have one debit and one credit. And for some of the adjusting entries, you'll have to calculate the dollar amount yourself. Once you have entered all the accounting entries for the regular journal entries and the adjusting entries, then what we'll need to do is go back to the General Ledger and post those entries into each of these T accounts that are affected. So let's look at the first one. Cash we increased $18,000. So in this entry, we debited cash $18,000. Go back to the general ledger. We need to increase cash on the debit side here, $18,000. But again, don't type the dollar amount in. Cell reference the number. So make this equal to this tab, this number right here, and hit enter. And there's the $18,000 in the cash account. The next item, we need to post account receivable. Let's go to the account receivable balance over here, the account. We need to put another debit right here. Hit the equal sign, general journal, $62,000, and hit enter. So 62 is here. And then we need to credit service revenue $80,000. Let's go to the service revenue account right here. We don't have any beginning balance in it. So the temporary accounts, such as expenses and dividends and revenues, don't have beginning balances, not at the beginning of the year. So let's hit equal on the credit side. Make sure you keep the debit or the credit straight. And service revenue increases with the credit. Hit equal, come here. And you can see we did credit the account here. So click and hit enter. And there's the $80,000. Next entry, cash comes in. So we're going to increase cash $45,000. Go back to the cash account. Click, equal sign. Let's find the debit to cash. Here it is. Hit enter. The other part of the entry you can see was account receivable. Go back to the general ledger. Account receivable, it's a decrease, a credit. So equal, journal. Here's the credit to account receivable. Please try to keep your debits and credits correct. So hit enter, and there's the credit in the receivables side. The journal, we have cash again going up. So let's go to the cash account. Have equal, click the tab, $12,000, and hit enter. Go back, that was the common stock account we need to credit, so go to common stock, and here it is. Let's credit common stock for, well, I'll tell you what, let me do it correctly. We had the common stock as a beginning balance of $19,000. This can be equal this 19. Let me put this in. And then now we're ready to post the journal of $12,000 hit equal. Now again, I skipped a step a minute ago. I only showed you the beginning balances being entered in these accounts for cash, receivables, and supplies, and also accumulated depreciation. You'll need to post the rest of these as beginning balances in the rest of these accounts. Don't forget that. Let me show you one more entry here. Let's go ahead and do this one. Salaries expense. It says we paid salaries expense of $36,000. So we debit salaries expense because we increase expenses with the debit. And we're paying cash out the door, so we need to decrease, in other words, credit cash, $36,000. I wanted to do this to show you a credit to the cash account in just a second. Let's post the debit to salaries expense. So let's go down here, salaries expense, click, equal sign, tab, click on, if my cursor will work here, click on here and hit enter. Now we're ready for the credit to cash, and you don't have to start down here. This is the first credit to cash. You can go ahead and start up here. So click and then hit the equal sign, click on General Journal tab, and let's click on this credit to cash, equal. Okay. So now we have some increases in the cash account and a decrease in the cash account. As you post all of the journal entries, don't skip around and post this cash, and this cash, and then post this receivable, that receivable. Go straight down the list. So post them in this order that you come to them. Post this one first, this second, this third, this fourth, this fifth. Don't be jumping around picking and choosing, or you're going to leave one out and your trial balance is not going to balance. After you post all of your entries, and again, you're going to have entries A through K, adjusting entries A through H. After all these are entered and posted into the T accounts, the next step is to find the balances in the T accounts. Part of this assignment is, again, to reinforce your Excel skills. So make sure you have Excel do most of the work. So what we're going to do is, in the cash account, we're going to have Excel add this column. These are the increases in cash, in beginning balance plus the increases. And we're going to have Excel subtract the total of all the credits. So by the time you get through all the entries, you're going to have quite a few, more entries in the cash account here. So let's put the formula here. What we're going to do is put equal sum, open parentheses. You can have Excel pick up all these. So anything you might have in these cells is going to add. I'm going to close this because what I want to do is subtract. So minus sign the sum of all of these. Close the parentheses, and then when I hit enter, then what it does is automatically add everything in the debit column and subtract everything you would have in the credit column. So if you posted more numbers in here, let's say you had $1,000 that came in over here, you had $5,000 that came out over here, then you can see the number would change as you added more items. So do this for every account. Now on the credit side, make sure you get the total correct on the credit side. And what you want to do here is go like equal, put this up here, sum, open parentheses, and you want to have this side, close parentheses, minus the sum of the other side, close parentheses, and hit enter. Of course, we only have one beginning balance here, so nothing changed. But make sure that you keep the correct account, debit or credit, for the type of account you have. Liabilities, like these payables in here and deferred revenue, they have credit balances. Revenues have credit balances. Common stock a credit balance. This is probably the only entry you might have, so I'll go ahead and show you how to do this one. Here, equal, sum, open parentheses, this range, close parentheses, minus sum, open parentheses, this side, close parentheses, and enter. And there you have an Excel add the numbers for us. Now the last step is to complete the adjusted trial balance. So nothing is entered in here. When you do this, make sure that you enter the accounts in the proper order. Again, this is the order you'd find these into the balance sheets, in the balance sheets and income statements. Use the order as the accounts are listed here. So for example, the first item will be cash. So type in cash for the first one, hit enter. Then accounts receivable. Again, keep the accounts listed in the adjusted trial balance in the order that you see them along here. So we're going to go to accounts receivable next. That, and then supplies if you want to. And I'm not going to fill out the rest of them. That's for you to do. Now what you do is you want to bring the numbers across, the dollar amounts. So you would like this total of cash, $39,500, to be placed right here. Don't manually type this number. Make Excel do the work for you. So when the cell is highlighted like it is here, click the equal button and then click here, hit enter, and there's the $39,500. Account receivable, you can do the same. Let's go ahead and bring this up to date for more practice. You want this total to equal to the sum of, open parentheses, everything on this side, close parentheses, and you want to subtract the sum of everything on this side, close parentheses, and hit enter. So there's the balance. So if you want the $25,300 to show up here, again, do not type it in manually, but highlight this cell, hit the equal sign, click here, and hit enter. And do the same with supplies and so forth. What you want to make sure you do, two things. On the account names, this is not a journal entry. These are not journal entries. So you don't have to indent the credit account names when you get to the credits. List everything over here to the left. Go on down, like if it's accounts payable, utilities payable, all the way over here on the left. So you don't indent any of the account names. but you still keep straight whether they have debit or credit balances. So let's pick a common stock. It'll be somewhere down here. I'll just pick a spot, type in common stock, hit enter. You want common stock to keep this credit balance that it has here. And you do this for all your utilities. So make sure you highlight the credit side of the debit and credit columns. And then you hit the equal sign, click here, hit enter, and there are the credits. So don't indent accounts with credit dollar amounts. Keep them all the same over here, straight in a line, but keep your debit numbers and your credit numbers in the correct column. The total, get down to here, click here. You want everything in this column added on this side. So let's just hit the auto sum. It picked up every cell, hit enter, that was easy. On this side, hit auto sum again. Now notice it only went up to where you had the first number. Go ahead and manually scroll down to pick up everything. And go ahead and pick up everything, even starting with the cash, credit box here. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. Just in case later on you have to come back in and put in a credit for some reason. So make sure you have all this, hit enter, and of course, these are not the correct numbers, and you'll have a lot of work to do, and when you're finished though, these two numbers will be equal. So that's the adjusted trial balance. I've skipped a lot of steps. You have to go back and fill out the rest. So good luck with your assignment here, and I'll see you online.